Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Buffalo Bills 38-20. They now start the season 2-3. That is not the place they want to be, considering the fact that the other teams in their divisions all have better records than them. They are now in sole position of last place, just like they were the week before, and now a lot of people are talking. What does this mean? They have now lost to the Ravens, who a lot of people said that they were not as good as the Chiefs. They now lost to the Buffalo Bills, again, 38-20, in very abrupt, very shocking fashion if you're a Chiefs fan, especially in Kansas City. That's the other big deal about this. So they're losing to the best teams. Many are saying Buffalo might be the class of the entire AFC now. That's something I'll address at a later time. But right now, we want to focus on what the Chiefs are doing, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, mostly. And it's a lot of wrong so far. So last night, Pat Mahomes, it was a Pat Mahomes show. It was basically solely him trying to run the show. And the problem that I noticed right off the bat was the fact that receivers like Mecole Hardman, even Tyreek Hill to an extent, Tyreek Hill was just taken out of the game. The Buffalo Bills defense did an impeccable job taking Tyreek Hill completely out of that one. And the other thing that you notice when you're watching this is not only the fact that Tyreek Hill, the few opportunities that he got the ball, like he dropped one, Mecole Hardman had a few bad drops, Robinson had a drop. It was a drop fest. They had butterfingers all the whole way through. And it's worrying. I put out a video earlier this year, right before the season started, where I kind of discussed this might be a year where the Chiefs take a downturn, or they might have a setback, and it has nothing to do with their talent. Pound for pound, they might be the most talented team in the NFL still, and at least on offense. But that defense is a problem. They're allowing, I believe, one of the most points in the entire NFL. And look, they are still one of the highest scoring teams in the NFL, but it's not saving them. They're 2-3, and they've lost to all the good teams, which they usually beat. They usually beat the Ravens. Didn't happen this year. Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs usually beat teams like Buffalo. Haven't this year. So, one, the AFC's gotten a lot better over the past few years. Two, I do think that going in these deep playoff runs, and I talked about it in that video I mentioned earlier, going into these deep playoff runs year in, year out, it's usually the fourth year, and it's now the fourth year for the Kansas City Chiefs, that we see a bit of a drop-off, and it has to do with fatigues. Once you play 2, 3, 4 extra games every year for 3 years on end, it takes a toll on your body. It's almost half a season the Chiefs have played just in the playoffs outside of the regular season. So once you have to put that grind together again, you're feeling it in your body. And there's a reason why those Brady teams, they would have those one-and-done seasons after going to Super Bowls. It takes a toll on your body. That's just the truth. And sorry, Chiefs fans, it happened. They're 2-3. That doesn't mean they're not going to make the playoffs. They're probably still going to make the playoffs. They're still one of the more talented teams on offense. But the real problem for this team is on defense. They can't stop anything. They couldn't stop Josh Allen. They couldn't stop Lamar Jackson. And those are the two people in the AFC, along with Justin Herbert, who they couldn't stop at all. Big shout out to the Chargers, by the way, who look like they might be ready to win and possibly even win the entire conference eventually. We'll talk about them again in a later time. But Josh Allen, basically, he didn't even pass the ball that many times, but he was efficient, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns on 15 completions. And he ran the ball, obviously, effectively. And Pat Mahomes also, by the way, led the entire Chiefs team in rushing. Losing out Clyde Edwards-Helaire was big for this team. But the big thing is, I think we've learned that Spagnuolo's defense is just not working. Whatever he's doing, it's just not working. He can't stop the best quarterbacks in the league, which you need to stop. And I don't know. I honestly don't know where the Chiefs stands. I think Pat Mahomes is enough to get them in a wild card at this point, but winning the division, again, it's a long season, 18 weeks. But the way it looks right now, if they don't get this defense under control, they can't stop the run, they can't stop the pass, it is going to be exceedingly difficult for them to make any noise in the playoffs.